the issues that we are keeping you up to speed on are the current issues of the state of the nation. We take you down memory lane with facts and figures within and across the borders. That's why you should be tuning in to Peace Express every Wednesday from 7 to 8. This is Peace Express. Good morning. This is Peace Express live with me, Samson. So this morning we are talking about teenage pregnancy. That's something that has been going on the past few months or so, and this is something that we felt like is a discussion that is worth talking about. And with me in studio this morning is Mr. Peter Kingori from Center for Character and Leadership, alongside Miss Olivia Kahega, who is a peer counselor from Youth Changers Kenya, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we even begin this particular discussion this morning, there's something I just want us maybe to go through really quick. And maybe if I may start with you, Mr. Kingori, I just want to touch on something very quick, that is the issue of transportation. And we know there's the reinforcement or the reintroduction of the Michuki laws. What do you take of this?
So, thank you very much, sir, for hosting us this morning.
Yes.
It has been a while since we lost our comrade.
You were our father.
And our father and the
Yes.
producer, General Marain.
Yes.
And it is our prayer that God will continue strengthening his family, and us who are alive continue carrying on his dream,
Yes.
to make sure that whatever he really wanted to see is actualized in teaching humanity. We'll be able to do it very well. And we also would like to thank Bishop Kari for giving us this chance that we can come and table these issues that are affecting our nation. Coming to what you have talked about, the transportation, actually it's a nightmare at the moment. And Kenyans are struggling to go to work because there are very few less matatus in town. But however, I support the government. I support the government to have this crackdown of matatu, at least to bring sanity in the transport sector. For the last since the beginning of this year, we have seen Kenyans who have lost their lives. And the worst case was the bus that killed over 50 people in western part of Kenya. We have been having a lot of accidents within the town and even along Mombasa Road. And I feel that we have been having careless drivers, people who don't care about the life of people. And so, as a government do the crackdown, I would urge them to do it in a friendly way. They should not harass Kenyans. They should go strictly to the point and tell them the mistake that they have. And again, I will also say that let not be another opportunity where the policemen will get a lot of corruption, because this is what happened in Kenya in a situation like this, where if you are caught with a mistake and you find that if you go to a court of law you'll be fined 10,000, you're willing to call 5K and give it to a policeman so that he can leave you alone. So I would urge our policemen to maintain integrity, and if they are really committed to bring sanity in our transport sector, let them maintain integrity as they do the crackdown. And let us also, we as Kenyans, support them. Because when you board a matatu and it's already full in capacity, we're encouraging the mistakes in our road.
Okay, very well. So what do you take of this, Ms. Olivia?
In regards to the transport sector, I think the move is actually a very good move, because in most cases we talk about so many cases happening in Nairobi, but when you go to the grassroots, there are so many things that are happening. For instance, I remember one day I boarded a matatu from one destination to another. But I was not able to reach that destination. Instead, I reached in the middle of the journey, and I had to be exchanged into another vehicle, whereby unfortunately niliekwa kwa boot. Now see, and the kind of vehicle that niliekwa ilikuwa probox. So, and in that particular probox, ulipata hapo mbele, there are 4 people seated in a probox. So to me, I think it's a very good move, because I think it will bring some sanity back to the roads, and also the people in the transport sector, if I may say, they'll develop some good character. Maybe they'll reduce the cases of overloading the vehicles, because now we have very strict rules that are governing them. Yeah, to me, it's a very good move.
Okay, very well, because this is something that also has paralyzed the transportation sector, and maybe a lot of traffic here and there. But now maybe having our discussion maybe right on table, for our viewers out there, interact with us on our social media platform. Facebook, we are at MTN Kenya. Twitter, at Peace Express One. Remember to use that hashtag face to face with reality. This is where we dissect the nation the way it's supposed to be, and we take you through your nation and make you understand it in just an hour. So welcome to Peace Express, and as we begin, Mr. Kingori, I don't know why I always begin with you. It has been a norm, so that's why I've been into that. That is a routine now.
Maybe today is ladies first.
Ladies. So whatever case it is, I wanted to ask this. When we're talking about teenage pregnancy, this is something that is not strange to us. It's a familiar thing that has been there for quite some time, and especially in our primary and secondary schools. But I wanted to ask you this, the both of you, maybe you help me to understand this particular issue. Have there been maybe so many cases in terms of maybe the pregnancy cases, and also this leads now to the school dropouts, and then the high number of school dropouts in that particular effect? And maybe I just wanted to make me understand what could be the fundamental cause of this.
Well, actually the issue of teenage pregnancy among the adolescent girls is alarming at a very high rate in our country. And it's a culture shock, but this is something that has been there for many years. Because if I recall at my time in high school, we did our KCSE when 6 girls were pregnant. And the 7th one was got a baby before we did the KCSE. That was back in year 2002. So this thing has not started today. It's only that society has been quiet in addressing these issues. And when you look at the statistics, actually at the moment, they say that young people between age 10 and 19, they become so vulnerable to get pregnant at a very early age. I was looking at some of the statistics, and they were saying like between 2016 to allow this year, over 300,000 girls they are pregnant. And looking at what happened during the KCP this year in KCSE, you wonder how these girls conceived, because if we go back, we all know that a pregnant can only be carried for 9 months. So it means they got pregnant during the month of either March or February this year. And it means that the school were in session. So what went wrong? And so when you look at the issues that are contributing to this, number one that I would like to highlight is the issue of we have given our girls a lot of freedom, we as parents. Because in our time, if you are a girl or if you're a gentleman, our parents used to check what time we come back at home. But today we are seeing parents who give their children a lot of freedom. They can go for sleepovers, they can go for clubbing, they can go for partying and come the following day. Guess what? What happened in those parties? What happened in those clubbing? So at one point, I would say we as parents, we have to know our responsibility in raising the girl child, as much as we advocate for the rights of the girl child. And let us not also forget the peer pressure, because many young people, they get induced to sex because they want to experiment, and simply because so and so has a boyfriend, you also want to have a boyfriend so that you can feel like you are passing in the society. So the issue of negative peer pressure, I think it has really influenced this trend of most of the young girls to get pregnant. I'd like to first give my colleague here, maybe she can give 1 or 2 points before I add.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me also introduce myself officially. My name is Olivia Kageha. I'm a peer counselor at Youth Changers Kenya. Youth Changers Kenya is a community-based organization that was started in 2015, and our main aim is to advocate for the sexual reproductive health and rights of young girls, adolescents, and also young women. So you find that in our line of work, we experience so many cases of teenage pregnancy, and according to what we've encountered in the past recent years, you find that some of the causes of the teenage pregnancy are rape and also some of the sexual abuse cases. You find that most of these girls, some of them are very vulnerable, and our main area of operation is in Limuru, majorly those sides of Brook, and you find in those areas there is a lot of farming of tea. So there are tea plantations in those areas. So you find that the reason some of these girls give that contribute to them getting pregnancy at a very tender age is that they are being raped. And you find that those rapists, they just live within the tea plantation areas. So they time those girls in the morning when they are going to school, then they tend to rape them. And again, another cause that we found out was poverty. You find that those girls, majority of them come from low-income areas. Their parents do very shoddy work, and so they find themselves indulging in sex at a very tender age in the name of like going to get some cash so that they can be able to sustain their young ones, so that they can be able to like help their mothers, and in the process they end up becoming pregnant. And another cause is also the issue of lust, whereby you find these girls, some of them, they want to experiment the way my colleague is saying. They want to experiment and fit in as others, because when others give their stories or their encounter on issues of sex, they feel that they should also go and try so that they can be able to experience how it comes. So you find in such a situation they end up becoming pregnant.
Yeah. Let me just pick it from here. Maybe when we're talking about maybe the fundamental causes of maybe teenage pregnancy, and I would ask you this: could we say there are some what we call them? Could we say that there are main players in this? And if yes, who are the main players?
Yes, I can say they are main players, because you find the most vulnerable group, as I said, they are the teenage girls between the ages of 9, even 12 to 19 years. And you find the people who force them to get into such particular acts, you find them, most of them are drunkards. The ones that rape them, most of them are drunkards, and in the process you find them raping them, and they end up becoming pregnant. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I cannot contribute to that.
Something to add?
And say, when you look at the Teacher Service Commission, you can, at the statistics, you can see that they have sacked, and they have interdicted and sacked so many male teachers. So, as much as we talk about teenage pregnancy, some of teenagers, they're impregnated by teachers who are supposed to be role models. Yeah, it's just like the way we say that promotion nowadays happen in lodging, not in boardroom. So, if they want to have good grades, even in a university level. They just become friends with the lecturers. And so it also happened, it's another trend in high school. You have good grades, you become a friend with a male teacher. So we have seen TSC interdicting and sacking male teachers. So they are major preacher on this. And again, when you look at what is happening in the coast region, as my learned fellow here has said, poverty has contributed a lot. And so young girls, when they come out of school, they are sent by their parents to go and market some goods so that they can get some money to buy the meals. So during that, when they are doing this trade at young age with the truck drivers, with the border riders, maybe sometimes they are even late, they have not sold anything, they want to go back home, and they don't have transport. What do? They just come to a border operator and tell them, my friend, could you take me home? So, in exchange of what? You know, this is Kenya, where I give you and you give me. You give me back.
Use what you have to get what you want.
Yeah, you use what you want, you have to get what you want. So, the border riders, and whenever, if they are hearing me, I would urge them, please spare our girls. The male teachers, please spare our girls. And spare our girls.
So, Mr. Kingori, let me ask you this. I think we are getting to now a bit controversial. We are getting to a controversial point. Where, okay, it is a good thing that maybe we try to advocate and maybe alarm out our voice for maybe the border or operators and maybe the teachers to stay away from our girls. And now, what could be the responsibility of now the girls in this process?
You know, in Africa, there is what you call musiba ya kujitakia. And some of these girls who get pregnant is through lust, is through self-gratification. They have their boyfriend, they want to experiment. And the real issue is about the lack of moral values. Yeah. So if at all we have to win this battle, and I think we'll be coming to the remedies, we need to look at strategies that can help in advocating for moral values in our society. Yeah.
So let me, Ms. Olive, let me bring you in by asking you this. Maybe we know what the kind of society we are living in, and maybe each and every society, maybe we have different cultures in Kenya, and maybe the 44 tribes. Yes. Each and every tribe has a culture, and also maybe we call them the ethics.
Yes.
I don't know, there's some things that happens in the society, then maybe you'd refer them, okay, these are taboo in our society, this is not biblically right, and maybe this is this. That's how you judge maybe a situation in your own culture or in a society. And we're talking about maybe teenage pregnancy. How does the society embrace all this, since it is not something that is biblically upright?
Yeah, I can say in the recent past there is some improvement, because there has been this issue of from where I come from, my neighboring community, they used to practice wife inheritance, and when we talk of wife inheritance is when maybe the wife died, and then the sister to the wife who at the same time anaweza kuwa bado ako at a very tender age, she is allowed now to come and take the place of the sister who died.
Sister.
Yes. So I can say the retrogressive cultures like wife inheritance that came as a result of death, they have drastically declined. I think it's due to education, whereby there are some like-minded organizations that have come up, whereby they go to the community and create awareness about the retrogressive cultural practices. So, in my opinion, the cultural practices that were archaic, or if I refer to them as outdated, at least they have adjusted, and the cases are reducing. Yeah.
So, Mr. Kingori,
Yes.
As someone who maybe advocates for maybe upright characters in the society, what do you take of this?
I would say that it takes a village to raise a child. And I'd like to thank some of the community members who have who have already, who have blown the whistle when they see girls being taken by young men and they are taken inside the lodge. Because you have seen that such cases where mtu anavamiwa with a young girl. But as much as we say that let us be vigilant, I would urge the society, let us see what is happening and try to analyze and make sure that every girl or every boy who succeeds and achieve his dream must be mentored in the right way. Because the modern generation is living in a different world from the world that we lived during our time. Things have changed. Technology is there. In our time, if a teacher came to class and found me with a magazine or any pornographic material, they used to pick them. But today, this advent of technology, every young people can access a mobile phone. And in our houses, we have Wi-Fi, we have bundles, and since they have a lot of free time, they can go to the internet and see all these things. What next is experimentation. And that's where we need to really build a defensive mechanism that even when they are exercising their freedom, they exercise their freedom in a very moral way.
Talking about a defensive mechanism, what are these mechanisms to be precise?
Well, I would say, somebody say that since wars begins in the mind of men, it is in the mind of men that the defensive mechanism should be constructed. And when you talk about defensive mechanism, we're talking about the issue of character development. And you saw what happened in our country when the activists and some of the members of parliament were advocating to introduce sex education in our schools. People are like, these are young people. They don't need to have issues about sex. But I have seen parents, and most of them, you agree with me, and my colleague can agree with me here. They fear to talk to their children issues to do with reproductive health and healthy sexuality. But this is where we are failing, because we are not speaking out the issue of reproductive health, the issue of healthy sexuality. Yeah, if we can come out strongly and teach our young people at a very tender age, maybe from adolescent or from 10 years, about the adolescent challenges, the reproductive health, the sex education, we can be preparing them to some of the pitfalls that are waiting them in life. Yeah.
Okay, so viewers, we are taking a short commercial break. Peace Express will be back right after this break. One of the issues that we are keeping you up to speed on are the current issues and the state of the nation. We take you down memory lane with facts and figures within and across the borders. That's why you should be tuning in to Peace Express every Wednesday from 7 to 8. This is Peace Express.
Jana leo na milele, Yesu wangu ni yeye yule. Jana leo na milele, Yesu wangu ni yeye yule. Jana leo na milele, Yesu wangu ni yeye yule. Jana leo na milele. Wazazi wangu walipofariki, mume wangu na watoto tulibakia upweke, tukashindwa tufanyeje. Bwana Yesu katokea, kanambia mwana wangu, usijali yaliyotendeka, niko nawe hata milele. Wazazi wangu walipofariki, mume wangu na watoto tulibakia upweke, katokea, kanambia mwana wangu, usijali yaliyotendeka, niko nawe hata milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Ndugu zangu wakaanza yao, kulewa wizi kila kona, na balaa ikazidi. Nikamwita Bwana Yesu, kanambia atawaokoa moja moja kwa mwingine. Ndiyo maana ninasema Yesu wangu ni yeye yule. Ndugu zangu wakaanza yao, kulewa wizi kila kona, na balaa ikazidi. Nikamwita Bwana Yesu, kanambia atawaokoa moja moja kwa mwingine. Ndiyo maana ninasema Yesu wangu ni yeye yule. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Marafiki wakaleta yao, tulikuwa tumewakopesha, twahitaji fedha zetu haraka, tena kwa haraka sana. Bwana Yesu katokea, kanambia mwana wangu, deni lako limelipwa pale msalabani. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, nasema yeye, jana leo na milele. Yesu wangu ni yeye yule, Yesu jana leo na milele. Uyo Yesu Yesu umenitendea. Yesu Yesu umenibariki, umeniinua, umenitakasa. Yesu nami nitakuita, nitakuabudu siku zangu zote. Yesu Yesu Yesu.
One of the issues that we are keeping you up to speed on are the current issues and the state of the nation. We take you down memory lane with facts and figures within and across the borders. That's why you should be tuning in to Peace Express every Wednesday from 7 to 8. This is Peace Express. Welcome back to Peace Express. It's about 40 minutes past the top of the hour. Peace Express continues. And continue interacting with us on social media platform. Facebook, we are at MTN Kenya. Twitter, at Peace Express 1. Remember to use that hashtag face to face with reality. So then you can connect with us. Our direct line number is 0721647995 or 0701486625. So, Mr. Kingoli, I just want us maybe to you take me through something here that maybe will help me also understand outside our viewers out there. We've understood and we've realized that whatever is happening, whatever is going on, the teenage pregnancy is something that is out of place and is something that is not accepted, both biblically and in our society. And from where I sit, I wanted to understand how should we deal with the perpetrators in this particular act.
One thing that I would say that choices have consequences. And when you look at the perpetrators, one thing that I appreciate with the Teacher Service Commission, when they receive an important case about the sexual harassment or impregnation cases, they interdict the teachers, then ultimately they sack the teachers. But on the other hand, our constitution is very clear. Every young person who is below 18 years old is treated as a minor. And if you commit a sexual offense with a minor, the constitution is very clear. You need to be taken to a court of law, and there is a jail sentence as stipulated in our constitution. However, most of these folks who impregnate our girls, they're just walking freely in our society. Because some of these girls, they have so many boyfriends. You ask them who impregnated you, they don't know. So, and if they say maybe perhaps he's not even the one. Yeah. So, that's why I'm saying the issue here is not about teaching our young people on the right moral values and on how to make wise decisions. If at all we have to prevent this. However, if I would recommend that if the perpetrators are identified, let justice be applied. Let justice be applied.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, Isabel?
Yeah, I think according to me also, I can just say that they should face the full force of the law, because it is actually a very bad act to molest a very young, a minor. Yeah, because you find that there are so many things that arise as a result of teenage pregnancy. In as much as I can say some of them can be as a result of rape cases, you find that some of them, it causes a psychological torture which is lifetime to the person who is involved, and find that when this person grows up, she in most cases may end up hating men to the latter, and you find most of them saying they can't even get married because they fear men. So in my opinion, they should just face the full force of the law.
So, Mr. Kingoli, do you think does this actually affect our young generation or the society as a whole, and in what capacity?
It affects our young generation, the issue of teenage pregnancy, because most of the girls who get pregnant, they're in school, they're in primary school, they're in secondary school. And remember, they're in school to get education. Education is the key to success. Well, I think in our society today, without education, it's like you're nobody. Yeah. And one of the consequences that we have seen is that if a girl becomes pregnant, in most cases they drop out of school. And when they drop out of school, they become young mothers who are nurturing some babies. And so now their primary responsibility becomes winning the baby and taking care of the baby instead of concentrating in education. And we have seen the dreams of most potential young girls being cut short, because when they get babies, when they give birth to babies, it's like their education comes to an end. It's only a few families that they normally consider the aspect of taking the baby and sending the girl back to school. But what has been happening in most cases is that if you get a baby, that's the end of the education. However, we see that the people who impregnated them, the boys, the men, they still continue with their life. If it was a boy who is in the same school, he continues with the education, he goes to, he passes the exam, he goes to college, he graduates, he gets a job. For him, life is normal. But the other is sent back to poverty. And we say that one of the reasons for all this is poverty. Because you can imagine getting a baby at age 18 or below age 18. What will happen when you come across poverty? You even get more children. Yeah. And so we'll be setting a lot of dangers to our society, and the future will not be stable.
Ms. Olive, your thoughts?
Yes, I can say the negative impacts outnumber the positive impacts, because you find that it leads to the spread of some of these STI, and also some of these, as I said, STIs and HIV and other diseases. And as a result, you find that a person or that girl may be suffering from this particular kind of condition, and he or she is not able to tell maybe the cause, the major cause of this problem, because you find that teenage pregnancy comes apart from getting pregnant, you can also contract a disease. So anaweza kuwa anajua tu bora mimi nilipata ball lakini ajui kama alipata ugonjwa. Another effect, it can also lead to family conflicts, because you find that in the African traditional societies, the mother is always blamed in whichever circumstances that happens to their girls. So you find that the father is bringing all the blame to the mother, and in such a situation you find that there are some conflicts within the family. And again, the issue of abortion, it can lead to abortion because maybe this girl was raped and she was not prepared to get that particular pregnant. And due to pressure from the parents, from the friends, from the society as a whole, you find that this girl becomes so much insecure, and she may end up procuring some of these dangerous acts of aborting the child. Like some of them are very much outdated. You find some of them saying they take pills to abort the child, some of which are very dangerous to the health of the girl. And again, you find that the child that is being born out of this teenage pregnancy, in most cases they end up becoming fatherless, or the society refer to them as bastards. And you see, in your own way, a bastard is a very ambiguous name to refer to a child. So it leads to the children being born becoming fatherless, and also being referred to as bastard by the society. And also talking of the burden to the family and also to the society, it leads to an increase in economic hardships, because we find that the government may end up now investing so much in terms of social amenities, in coming up with projects on how to take care of these teenage girls. Yeah.
Maybe to add something on what you are saying, this is more like a title on HIV infection. Because if we are saying that when you look at statistics, over 300,000 girls have been pregnant for the last 2 years, it means they were engaged in unprotected sex. And if so, if they were having the HIV virus, or their boyfriends or the men were having HIV virus, it means that they have been infected. So, and that's why we see the recent statistic on HIV and AIDS, saying that this thing, it has been so high among the young girls between 15 to 24. Perhaps what will be coming now, the research as they continue, the research will be like between age 10 to 19 is leading HIV and AIDS virus. And some, I'm so cautious about this, because I met some time back giving a mentorship follow-up in a school, and one girl asked me, and she told me that, Peter, I've talked very well, and I've counseled very well, and I've been having 39 boyfriends and having sex with them. Some are inside the school and some are outside the school, and I'm HIV AIDS. What can I do? And the deputy principal told me, Kingoli, don't be worried whatever you talk about these young girls. It's happening. You can imagine now, one girl, that 9 men.
She's affected.
And she's affected. What if these 300,000, about maybe 80% or 50% are infected and they're having multiple partners? What are we expecting to see? Don't joke.
That's a crazy scenario.
Don't be sure.
That's a crazy scenario.
That's what we are saying is a culture shock. We are sitting on a time bomb. Yeah.
Aye, very well. But let me just maybe as we wind up, maybe perhaps as we wind up, do you think like all this could have just maybe some possible solutions?
Well, I would say that yes, there are many strategies that we can use and society can use to bring normalcy and to raise a moral sharp. And we talked here sometimes before on how to raise a moral sharp. And I would say that family is a school of love and peace. The first institution where we learn how to love, where we learn the moral values is the family. So as much as we blame the society that the girl child is getting lost, that the girl child is being impregnated, let us look at our families. What are we doing? We as parents, are we teaching our children the moral values? Eh? Are we guiding them? I always call my mother, and my mother, when she was about to teach us how to become men and women, she would start like with a stick and say, hey, a good man comes from God, and a good woman comes from God. And we grew up knowing that a good man comes from God, and a good woman comes from God. She was courageous enough, and this is what we need to see, the modern parents. Not like, oh my dear, so you know, modern parents, they are sympathizing with their children. I'm sorry you got pregnant, I'm sorry you went, I'm sorry this has happened to you. Why are they sorry? They should address the issue. Yeah, and where also, we should also see the religious people. I will not leave them behind, because these young girls, they normally go to church, wearing very mini skirts, wearing very enticing clothes. Can the religious people address this issue in the church? Can they address the issue of moral values in the church? Yeah, let us not just look and see our girls becoming lost and being carried away by what is happening in society. Yeah, and one thing also I need to add is, and I said it before, is about sex education, character education in the schools. As much as we have brought, the government has done a very good job in coming up with a competence-based curriculum. It's good to nurture the competence. But let us remember, before we become, what makes us human is the values, integrity, kindness, responsible, self-control. These are the values that make us human before we think about being competent. So let the government also address the issue of sex education in schools. Yeah.
So, sorry, what can you say about the possible solutions on this?
Yes, just to add on what my colleague has said about sex education, I refer to it as comprehensive sexuality education, whereby it should be included in the curriculum, whereby the young people are supposed to be given not just information but the right information in regards to sexuality, and they should just be told the real things instead of trying to sugarcoat some things. Let them just know these things at a very tender age, so that they grow up knowing that this is right and this is wrong for you. And again, another thing is about biblical counseling, whereby the people are supposed to offer that kind of counseling. They're supposed to be people who are professionals in that field, and also they should refer to the Bible, because the Bible, I think, is the final thing when it comes to counseling. When you find the young people who are deep-rooted into the Word of God, and you talk to them about the issue of early sex or early marriages, in regards to the Bible and what God says about the Bible, I think they can be able to embrace this particular kind of change and be able to act in the right way. And I think also another way is to provision of study materials, especially to the parents and also to the teachers. Because when we talk about comprehensive sexuality education, we mean the kind of education that is supposed to inculcate all the forms of sexuality and all the forms of sexual violence, so that the young people are able to know these things. So that can be done. And also parent-youth communication should also be enhanced, whereby the parents should be free with their children, so that whenever they have an issue, they are free to discuss with them, instead of them going to talk to other people outside there before they discuss them with their parents. And maybe also another issue is about the charity and also the humanitarian aids, the ones that work hand in hand, or they do the same job as other organizations. They should work hand in hand in creating awareness about the effects of early pregnancy to the young people, and also just come up with aids to help these young girls to ensure that they go back to school or they are housed somewhere and they are able to access education regardless of their situation in life.
Very well.
I want to add one more point, and this is about mentorship. Because we are who we are today because we are mentored. In our lifetime, we met significant caring adults who are concerned about our success, who are concerned about our morality, who are concerned about our dreams. And so, I would advise the modern parent, if you are not free to address the issue of sexuality with your children, look for a significant caring adult in the society and connect your children to that caring adult, so that they can be getting mentorship as they grow up to become mature, responsible adults.
Your final thought is, Olive, really quick, in less than a minute.
What I can just say is parent with communication. That is what I always try to insist, because the parents are the ones who bring this child to life. So they are the ones who should be on the forefront to ensure that they take care of the children, and also they give them the right information. And just finally to add is that you can find the Youth Changers Kenya on Facebook, on Youth Changers Kenya. We are also on the website www.youthchangerskenya.org, and you can share your thoughts.
Okay, very well. Mr. Kiwa, your final thought, just a minute.
Oh, well, I would say that let us, we as the activists who are concerned about facing the girl child, put our heads together and address these issues constitutionally, morally, emotionally, and together we'll win the battle if we focus in giving the right education to our children and not just leaving them alone and giving them a lot of freedom. Let us check what our girls are doing each and every day. Let us monitor them. Let us mentor them. Let us be free to them and try to understand the issues that they are going through during the adolescent stage. Yeah.
Very well. Because of time, that's why we wind up this episode. We've had a comprehensive discussion right here, and also link with us next week in the particular show, the same show, same time. And also, you can also interact with us on social media platform, Facebook, we are at MTN Kenya, Twitter at Peace Express 1. Remember to use that hashtag face-to-face with the reality. Also, so we are on YouTube. You can search MTN Kenya or Peace Express, MTN Peace Express. Both you'll find us. And also you can share with us your thoughts. And so you can also share with us what particular topic you want us to address in this particular program. We say thank you for those who have been behind this show. We say thank you till next week. I say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of the issues that we are keeping you up to speed on are the current issues and the state of the nation. We take you down memory lane with facts and figures within and across the borders. That's why you should be tuning in to Peace Express every Wednesday from 7 to 8. This is Peace Express.